about you guys, but Kalen DeBoer is doing some recruiting right now in Tuscaloosa. I guess he's showing us Saban's retired, stepped off to the side. The program is in good hands with me. With that being said, you're locked in! You're locked and loaded, guns blazing on a Friday. TGIF edition of the show, number one show for all things Bama. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown, Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you all in here on a Friday. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. And speaking of a channel, you know what time it is. I don't have to tell you now. You tap the subscribe button right now. You get yourself locked in, locked on, hooked on to the show, bringing you Bama football. You tap that bell, get yourself subscribed. You hit the like button too. Hit that thumbs up, drop a like right there on the show. Run those likes up, we appreciate that. The daily super chat goal, $100. Daily super chat goal, $100 right there. We appreciate all of you, the Bama family. We want to hear from you tonight. Line us up in the phone lines. I want your energy. I want your passion. I want your enthusiasm. I want your thoughts. That's 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Well, Eli, let's get into it right here. Kalen DeBoer doing some things here where recruiting is concerned. And I said this, Eli, and you remember me talking about this. I mentioned this with all the commotion happening at the program, with coaches leaving after Nick Saban's retirement, with players deciding to hit the transfer portal. I mentioned if Kalen DeBoer does one thing, it will rectify all of this. If he does one thing, he will have solved all of this. And the one thing I mentioned, if he can get Ryan Williams, five-star wide receiver from Saraland High School, South Alabama area, if you can get Ryan Williams back recommitted, back on board, back to sign in February, it will cover all of the issues. Kalen DeBoer did it. He did it. Got Ryan Williams to recommit to the Crimson Tide. Huge. And we understand the story. Ryan initially committed under Coach Saban. Then he backed off the commitment once Coach Saban announced his retirement, which we all understand that, right? For a lot of you, you had 17 years with Coach Saban. Coach Saban personified or represented stability, right? Stability, he was always there. Players came and left, coaches came and left, but we always had the idea of Nick Saban's going to remain here as the head coach. And when he decided to step off to the side, announce his retirement, it shocked a lot of us. It surprised a lot of us. And for recruits out there that decided, well, hold on. Let's take a step back from the commitment because we need to know if Alabama's going to still operate as Alabama, even without Nick Saban as the head coach, throwing the whistle, chewing my tail out, got the straw hat on. I got to make sure if it's not Nick Saban, I'm still getting the adequate coaching. So we can understand why Ryan Williams backed off the commitment. But for Kalen DeBoer to have, 11, 12 days after his introductory press conference on January 13th, that was a Saturday, to have 11, 12 days after that to put a staff together, right? And then make Ryan Williams a priority to where his entire family, we talking little cousin, baby cousins, they all in there. The entire family was on the official visit with him, and they made him that much of a priority to where Ryan Williams leaves by saying, I started off thinking Bama, I'm still thinking Bama. He cancels the visit to Texas A&M, well, not A&M, but to Texas. He cancels the visit to Auburn. He shuts down the entire recruitment. Huge. for Kalen DeBoer to have gotten that done. This is his version of Julio Jones. Now, I'm not saying that Ryan Williams is going to be Julio. I'm not going to put that much pressure on the young man. But I am saying in a sense of recruiting. When Coach Saban got to Alabama in 2007, 2008, who was the name that Saban had to get to believe in him to kind of turn stuff around? That was Julio Jones. Here is Kalen DeBoer. The question had been, can DeBoer recruit? Can DeBoer get the South? With Nick Saban retiring, can DeBoer land the number one player in the state of Alabama and arguably one of the number one players in the country? DeBoer answered the question with a resounding yes, getting Ryan Williams to recommit. He'll sign in February. That's huge. But not only just that, DeBoer also lands a commitment from a four-star edge rusher in Noah Carter. And here's a guy that was originally committed to the University of Washington, where DeBoer was previously. So here's Carter, an Arizona native. Carter, 6'4", 220 pounds, by the way of Centennial High School. Here is this big-time athlete choosing Alabama, giving his yes to Alabama for the 2024 class. Eli, it's going to be incredible to watch defensively where all these people fit in, because when you got Kane Womack from South Alabama and he's bringing his 4-2-5 swarm defense in here, you got 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, and there could be different variations of the swarm. So it's going to be intriguing to see which variation do we get at the University of Alabama. But having Noah Carter give his commitment to the Crimson Tide, big deal there. It just shows you Kalen DeBoer is showing us as consumers of Alabama football and showing Coach Saban as well, hey, the program is in good hands with me. It's in good hands. I'm showing you I can recruit. I'm showing you I can put a staff together. I'm showing you I can keep the core pieces of Alabama football in place and in pocket. DeBoer doing a fine job right now. My main thing is get us to A-Day. Get us to the spring game so we can watch some stuff unfold here in spring football. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting your chest warm on a Friday. When we get back, we want to hear from you. Bring your questions, bring your thoughts, bring your energy, bring your enthusiasm. I'm ready to hear it. We'll be back right after this.
Touchdown Alabama is a fully independent outlet that covers all things Alabama football. Founded in 2007 when Nick Saban arrived, we have been here through the entire Nick Saban era. In this new era, now is the perfect time to stay up to date on everything Alabama football and know what's going on, including everything that's going on with recruiting. Our website at touchdownalabama.com will always keep you in the know on everything that's going on with the Crimson Tide, and you can also get breaking news notifications with our app. We have over 100,000 followers on Facebook, over 60,000 on Twitter, nearly 30,000 on Instagram, over 30,000 on TikTok, and we're constantly growing. Also, be sure to become a part of this rapidly growing venture and subscribe to touchdownalabama.com to get inside and premium information on the team as well as recruiting inside the state of Alabama. We are constantly adding to our premium subscription package, so be sure to lock in now.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people. We're back locked and loaded to the action from the break on a Friday. TGIF edition of the show. Number one ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got my man Eli, the Wonder Man Walker, in the production studio. handling that business right there. Eli, how about that basketball game, though? Bama taking care of Auburn and Coleman, 79-75. Grant Nelson, Mark Sears, Rylan Griffin, playing good ball right now. If they can play like that with a bit of a higher clip to it, basketball team can make some noise here. You look at the SEC tournament, the NCAA tournament, things like that down the road. But we're going to go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Daniel from Phoenix City. How are you?
Daniel, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How you feeling, man?
Man, think back a couple weeks ago. Like, the punches just kept coming. It's like, man, we losing another guy. And it's every day. It's just everybody was leaving. And then now look at in, less than a week, how much everything has changed, man. It's wow. I'm pretty thrilled.
Daniel, I mentioned to a lot of people, I said, give DeBoer time, be patient. What this retirement from Coach Saban showed us is it showed us who's committed to the Alabama brand, the program, the culture, the community, versus who was just committed to be coached by Nick Saban and collect an NIL check. Saban's retirement has shown us that.
Right, and that's for sure. And, we got to also go ahead and establish. So are we calling him Coach DeBoer, or are we going to go just Coach Debo? What are we doing there?
I think it's Coach DeBoer. Now, of course, the recruits may call him Coach Debo. That's fine with me. But I think it's Coach DeBoer. Now, I think the players may have a nickname for him. He may be Coach KD. We really don't even know.
I'm just curious, just trying to decide. But, man, I'm not also going to lie. It's been great to see Auburn lose so much in a week. And that's great for me.
I mean, to beat Bruce Pearl and Auburn on the court, and then while that's happening, to have Ryan Williams not only commit to Alabama or recommit to Alabama, but then cancel the Auburn visit, it just took a lot of the fight out of Auburn, just seeing that happen at the same time.
Right. And the last thing I'll say is, looking at the Ryan Williams thing, he's I think he's only 16, isn't he?
He's only 17.
17. Okay, I'm sorry. So I still think he handled this situation still pretty well. I mean, I know he was still doing his visits and all, but the fact that he just didn't go off somewhere necessarily just chasing a check or something like that. I understand now in hindsight, decommitting, but still giving Bama a shot, giving Coach DeBoer a shot. And I'm just glad I feel like he handled himself fairly well.
I thought he did too, Daniel. And then also, you got to give a lot of credit to Jalen Mbakwe. Mbakwe is Ryan Williams' best friend. They competed against each other a lot in high school. They both played Class 6A high school ball. These two competed against each other in the 6A state championship game. Mbakwe for Clay Chalkville, Ryan Williams, of course, for Saraland. Clay Chalkville won 31-28. But the whole time during the recruitment process, what did Mbakwe say? I'm not letting Ryan get away. I'm not letting Ryan get away. And Mbakwe held up his end, did not let his best friend get away.
And thank God for that man, because we got a good one. And just, I'm also grateful for Noah Carter. That kid is very talented. Looking at some of his stuff, he's a multi-talented guy, so I'm very, very excited about him. But, Steven, thank you very much. You have a great night. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Daniel calling in from Phoenix City, getting us started here on a Friday. We'll roll into this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Corey from Charlesville. How are you doing tonight?
Corey, I'm doing well, man. Cannot complain. Here you got Bama taking care of Auburn on the basketball court the other night, and in that same night, you had Ryan Williams recommit himself to the Crimson Tide.
Well, I was very happy. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better night, a double dip, and beating Auburn and getting Ryan Williams, and I think that could be a tone setter for recruitment down the road, because you remember when Julio Jones committed, it set off a domino effect of recruits like Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson,
A lot of guys, Mark Barron, a lot of guys.
So it could be a domino effect for the 2025 class. And I want to ask you a couple of things. One, I know this sport doesn't get talked about a lot, but I just want to bring it because it's around the corner. But what are the fair expectations for Alabama softball coming up? Because, Montana Phelps moved on, and I think the team is flying under the radar, and with Caleb Rowe coming back as an assistant coach and pitching coach year number 2, and we get a hitting coach. So what do you think are fair expectations for the team? Because a lot of people are somewhat doubting them after the departures.
Well, I think fair expectations for Patrick Murphy and this team would be at least getting to at least making a run in the SEC tourney and at least hosting a regional. That'd be the fair expectations. Making a run in the SEC tourney and at least hosting a regional at Rhodes Stadium. Now, the good news is Kalen DeBoer's daughter, who played at Washington, will be playing at Alabama, and she's really good. So to have her, you got Jayla Torrance back on the pitching staff. And Jayla Torrance, she grew up last year. In the final year of Montana Phelps, Jayla Torrance grew up. So to have her back on the pitching staff, that's going to be very key for Alabama softball right there. I think the biggest thing. Go ahead.
Is she eligible? The Kalen DeBoer's daughter.
I think she is. Yeah, she is. I believe she is. Yes. So I look at this. I think the main thing for Patrick Murphy is going to be, can he manipulate his roster or set his roster up to where you got a good mixture of speed and power at the top, middle, and bottom of the lineup? Because you got to think about it. When Alabama softball has been its most successful under Coach Murphy, Murph has been able to say, okay, at the top of my lineup, I need girls who can bunt, who can hit, who can slap bunt, drag bunt, get on base, do everything you can to get on base, and then have the speed to steal bases to get set up for the power hitters down the lineup. So I think that's the biggest thing for Murph is being able to manipulate that lineup. But appreciate Corey, my man Corey from Trustville, calling in, giving his thoughts on the show. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Derek from Omaha. What's up, Steven?
Doing good, Derek. Doing good on a Friday, buddy. How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. Hey, I had a question about they say Nick Saban he has office in the stadium or something like that. How involved is Saban going to be in the program? You want Debo to put his footprints in and stuff like that. So just how far is I'm not saying it'd be a bad thing. I welcome it with open arms. But how involved is Saban going to be? What's his role going to be?
I think his role, Derek, is going to be a lot of working with Alabama's NIL collective, getting that up. He's going to be highly involved in that. He's going to be highly involved with the boosters in that ordeal. I think he's going to be highly involved in terms of he will mentor DeBoer and kind of helping him navigate the SEC, navigate this Alabama program. I think he'll be involved to where players can still come to him and talk to him. If the players feel like, hey, coach, I need something here, I need something there, I think Saban will have an open door policy to where players can come in, sit down, and speak to him. I think he will be involved in just different ways, but I think the main way will be with this NIL, because it's not going away. He'll be more so involved in either putting a lot of parameters around that thing or at least getting the boosters, the powers that be, to up the collective.
Oh, you're right, and that makes a lot of sense to me. But I want to go back and I have an opinion and a question, I should say, about what we talked about last week. With Michigan, Harbaugh leaving and their 30-day window's opening. And I was reading somewhere that there's a safety, a defensive lineman, and 2 wide receivers, if they enter the portal, that Alabama should be looking at. And I just want to know what you're feeling. Do you think we should go that route, or we should, if these are good players, they got 2 years remaining in eligibility, because I think Alabama's going to have a young squad next year on both sides of the ball. Do you think that we should? I think safety. I think safety for sure should be looked at, and the defense line. But I think a wide receiver situation is pretty much good. What do you think about that, Stephen?
I think Derek D-line and safety should get a look here. If you're going to pursue the portal, you got Alabama's got 79 scholarship players on the roster, 79. You need 85. So you're 6 players away. You're 6 guys away. So I feel like at this point in time, you need to take advantage of the portal. But of the 6 players you get, these have got to be 6 players that you hit on. They got to be hits. They got to all be hits, these 6 players. So if you look at Michigan, if you're going to get guys from Michigan, these are got to be guys that you have evaluated, you have looked at, you have scouted, you've done your due diligence watching their film, and they've got to hit. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, because you just don't want to get somebody in there just to fill in the space. This is we're reloading and stuff like that. We're not rebuilding, we're reloading. And I'm excited to see that the offense. With Kendrick Law, how he's going to fall in line with the offensive scheme, and the running backs. That's going to be It goes unsaid so many times that this guy had 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher. A balanced offense. And then with the defense, with that swarm, I just want us to come back to, with the 4-2-5, 5 DBs and stuff like that. Oh man, it's exciting. I can't wait for A-Day. I'm gonna buy my tickets. I'm gonna go down there and what's some good spots I can eat at in Tuscaloosa?
I'll say this for you: Archibald and Woodrow's. Get you some Archibald and Woodrow's in there. Dreamland's right there. I'm gonna say Southern Ale House. That's a good spot. Southern Ale House. Try to hit that up. That's 3 for you right there.
Got you. Good looking, man. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing, man, and I will talk to you next week. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Derek from Omaha calling in there. We're going to roll into this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? It's Tobias from Fresno.
Tobias, man, how we doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just looking at all this drama over the last 4 weeks, with Saban stepping away and how everybody's going nuts over this, man. I think you handled it pretty good, but I didn't have a doubt about any of this. We're gonna definitely miss Saban. I hope he's still active in terms of like his speeches and stuff. I think a lot of us just love to hear somebody talk ball like he does. Has such a great perspective about the sport. Has that old school. Those of us who are of this kind of age appreciate people who love the sport, for the sport itself. And quite frankly, it was time for him to step away. You saw the other day, Debo, he retweets, and then there's a stat out. This is the first first tweet of an Alabama coach. You know, that's pretty remarkable, since that's where players are. That Saban was able to do that without being into social media, not being into any of that, just hard-nosed coaching. So I think this is the right time for old KD to come in and make some changes. So a few things I was tripping that people was going crazy about. Number one, I never thought Texas was going to beat Washington. I don't even know where people got that from. If you're watching football, I figured that they would fizz out. I was still thinking that they could have beat Michigan, but I figured they would fizz out in the championship game, not being built to be able to go through a playoff like that. But Stephen, when Isaiah Bond left, people acted like it was Jalen Waddle.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
Maybe you know, I was just he's a good player. He made that catch. We'll forever remember that, and it brings joy. I got to DVR it and go to YouTube and look at it again, and it just brings me joy to see all those Auburn fans, you know, go quiet. I love it. I mean, I look at it over and over again, but that don't make you know Henry Ruggs. It don't make you nobody. It don't make you know Julio Jones, Amari Cooper. It don't make you that. And then, you know, the new kid that re-signed, congratulations to him. I think he's making a good choice. Hopefully, you know, it works out for him. But even in that, Stephen, we can't start saying Julio Jones. That's one of the problems with this generation. We be comparing them to legends, and you know, people be playing flag football, and we be saying, oh, he's Jerry Rice. It's like, stop. Let the kid grow. Let him develop. And the last caller was talking about taking advantage, you know, this portal opening up. Listen, I have every confidence that KD is going to take full advantage of every portal opportunity, because you know what, Steve? It's just the world we living in. I don't think that you can be a championship team because what's going to happen is you're going to have people leaving you, and if you don't take advantage of it as well, you can't backfill your roster. There's no way to do it. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to take advantage of it. And we'll be a young team in some areas, but guess what? I'm excited about our D-line rotation. I'm excited about our linebackers. I know our secondary has some young ones in there that have some of them barely broke into a rotation, but there's some people we haven't seen, like Tony Mitchell and some others, that have the skills and stuff like that. We'll see what kind of scheme they're put in. On our offensive line, I think it's going to be nasty. And I think what happens when you have and nobody is talking about Jalen Milroe. Like the kid that threw me fits last year because his feet never was right, yet he got a cannon for an arm. He can do everything, but he just got to get his mechanics down. Steven, I don't hear no one saying, wait a minute, oh, that kid is still there. So guess what? In this system, he's going to look more like a quarterback this year. He's driven. I felt uncomfortable when they went into that game with Michigan because I felt like their demeanor the week before, and I know some people will poo-poo this and be like, oh, that's not a big deal. What this dude talking about? But it mattered when they were being interviewed and Mr. Bond was talking how great he was. And Milroe was acting very much like, like you know, kind of like we got this and all those interviews. I think that was the problem. And we went in there and got, beat. But when you think about it, we was on our way to winning the game going into the fourth quarter, actually the last 7 minutes of that game. So, listen, we're in good shape. Bama's in good shape. I would tell the fans to, quit, well, I guess it makes good for, it's fun on media to be bouncing around, acting shocked, acting scared. Man, we in good shape. And guess what? We're going to be a championship team. Ohio State got all those players over there, but you know Ryan Day can't coach into a championship, so they're going to fall off. And hopefully we get our pound of flesh from Texas trying to, build their team on the back of Bama, because that whole team is nothing but Bama coach this, Bama coach that. So, Sarkisian doing what he has to do. But I think that day is coming as well. So anyway, with that said, man, keep putting out the content. Put out more, Steve. I know you're tired, man, but let's put out more. Just keep on making videos. Make tons of videos, stuff. We love it. We support you. And guess what? Roll Tide.
Appreciate your boss from Fresno calling and giving his thoughts on the show. We go right now quicker to this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
My name is Trey, and I live in Florence, Alabama.
Hey, Trey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
What's on your mind, Trey?
I want to ask you, I have 3 questions for you. Do you know Jaleel Hurley?
Yes, Jaleel Hurley. He's a cornerback. Very good dude. Very good athlete.
Do you think he'll start this year?
He's got a chance. He's got a real shot at one of 2 corner spots. He's got a chance. Really like him.
And my second question is, do you think Ryan Williams will start?
He's got a shot, too, for Ryan because he comes in the summer. It will depend on how quickly can he just shock people, surprise people, amaze people, because he's a summer guy. He will sign in February, but he'll come in the summer. So it'll just come down to how quickly can he amaze people.
Okay, and my final question, do you think Jalen Milroe will start too?
Jalen Milroe, with him coming back, he's got a lot of experience. He's got a chance too. He should, but we will see what Kalen DeBoer feels like, because that's the guy that Milroe has to impress. Saban's no longer there. You got to impress the new coach. Appreciate my man Trey from Florence calling in there. We go to this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Do you think we should go that route?
This is Curtis Higgins from Mississippi.
All right, how we doing, man?
Doing good. I think we're gonna be good this year. I think we're gonna make some noise this year. I believe we're gonna make some noise.
Gonna be a good team. Gonna be a very good team this year. I don't see any reason to panic.
Yeah. Did they sign that coach to a long-term deal or a short-term deal?
I think they got him. I don't think it was a short-term deal. Once again, the details haven't fully come out yet. I know that they had to buy out his contract from Washington, which was $12 million, but I know he signed for a good long time. I don't think it was short-term.
Oh, okay. That's what I want to know. Maybe he'll be around a while. Maybe he'll be around a long time. I think he's a good coach. I believe he. I
think he's a good coach,
too. He's going to work out.
I think he's going to work out. This is the one that Saban helped handpick, so I think he'll work out. Appreciate that call coming in there. We'll go to this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Jeremy Matthews, calling from Fort Myers, Florida.
How we feeling over there?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. 2 things. I don't know if you heard that the Michigan offensive coordinator, he is not going to get a head coach, so I don't think that we're going to get any players from Michigan in the quarter because they all respect him.
Well, we'll see what boils down when the portal opens up. It's going to open up April 15th, so if there's somebody that's going to jump in the portal from Michigan on April 15th, we'll see if they jump in the portal, but that's when it opens back up. Now, for Michigan, a lot of guys go there because of the program, because of the brand, not necessarily for Jim Harbaugh, who's now back in the NFL, but we'll see what happens April 15th when that thing opens up.
Oh, yeah, and another thing about the whole transfer portal thing with the whole Same with Julian State going to the portal. I feel like the NCAA should change the rules by having these young players do a 1-year commitment to their program, and then the next year they can go ahead and do whatever they want to do.
I can see that. I think another thing would be, another idea for the portal would be, and this is my reason of why the portal and NIL kind of work hand in hand. And Ian, I want your thoughts on this too. If a player hits the portal, should they give back the NIL money from that particular school? Should they give that NIL money back? If you're going to pursue the portal to go elsewhere, should you give back that NIL money? But appreciate that call coming to the show. Just a thought that I had. We're going to put that Eli on the whiteboard. If a player transfers elsewhere, do you take the NIL money you got from a particular school and pay that back because you're not playing for them anymore? So why do you keep the NIL? You might as well just go ahead and give it back if you're going to a whole different school. But just a thought that I had on my brain there. But we go to this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Steve? It's Jake from Pensacola. It's been a while.
What's going on, Jay? How we feeling?
Feeling good, man. I feel like the other caller. I think things are starting to turn around, and I'm glad, and I'm happy about it. You know, I would say Isaiah Bond transferring. I ain't gonna stunt like all the other people. I feel like they kind of hurt a little bit, but Caleb Downs. I mean, I feel like I wish he would have stayed, and he would have been very dynamic, and he had played a big role. But like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. I mean, as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid, and hell, even now, Steven, now you can't tell me somebody put $700,000 in your face in a Ferrari. I mean, what you gonna do?
I mean look. If I'm 17, 18 years old, and somebody come to me with $700,000 in a Ferrari, I'm jumping also.
Exactly, I agree. But I had two questions. So the first one is, I got a notification from Fox News, or whatever the case may be, that it said they gonna hire Sharon as the head coach. I don't know how true it is yet, but according to Fox app, and that's what it's gonna be. But I wonder, is it possible for any of them? Well, since they hire from inside, is it possible for them to get for any of the players just leave? I mean, would they want to leave by them hiring somebody inside?
I'll say this: if they go with the Sharon hire, and I know Jim Harbaugh put a good word out there for him because he was the coach that was running Michigan as the interim coach while Harbaugh was facing that 6-game suspension. So if they hire Sharon, you won't see a lot of players leave because of the fact that those guys want to play for Michigan and the fact that they rallied around Coach Sharon. They want to be around him. Now, you could see possibly 1 to 2 guys leave, maybe, that want to go elsewhere. But I feel like because these guys want to play for the Michigan brand and because Sharon helped galvanize that group, you won't see just a boatload of people leave.
That makes sense. I got one statement, one more question. The statement is, I call him Coach KD. So this is what I call him. I feel like it's going to be like the standard thing of what we're going to call him. But my other question is, do you think we can get Jamie French back as well? Because I seen on Twitter that Markway and Williams were trying to get him back as well. So
I'll say this.
If they can recruit him back, that'd be good.
I'll say this. With the way that Jalen Mbakwe was able to get Ryan Williams back on board, I put nothing past Mbakwe. If he can get Ryan Williams back on board, which he did, then the both of those two together should get Jamie French back on board. I really believe that.
I agree. All right, Steve, I appreciate you, man, and roll the tide and have a good day, man.
Absolutely, Jay from Pensacola calling in right there to the show. We got a few super chats to get to before we get back to the calls. How about today's Tom Sawyer? dropping in on $5 donation, helping us out today's Tom Sawyer. And then we got Nona Davis, the Bama girl in California. Nona Davis with a $10 donation, helping us out right there. And then my man Tobias from Fresno, dropping in that $50 donation, showing love on the channel. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat going $100 right there. We appreciate that from you. We got a cool call topic to get into now, Eli. That cool call topic is Bama and the NFL, in the sense of 4 Bama alums are finalists for NFL awards by the Associated Press. Those 4 Bama alums: DeMeco Ryans, head coach of the Houston Texans, former Alabama linebacker; Tua Tagovailoa, former Alabama quarterback who's with the Miami Dolphins; Jahmyr Gibbs, former Alabama running back who's with the Detroit Lions; and Will Anderson Jr., former Alabama linebacker who is now with the Houston Texans. So DeMeco Ryans is up for Coach of the Year. And a big season for DeMeco, getting the Texans to the NFL playoffs, winning a playoff game in his rookie season. Tua Tagovailoa, a finalist for Comeback Player of the Year. Stayed healthy, avoided all of the injuries, led the NFL for passing yards this season, 4,624. Tua, finalist, NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Jahmyr Gibbs, finalist for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Major season for Gibbs, over 1,000 yards rushing, 1,044, over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, 1,443. Gibbs, big season. And every time I watch him, the more angry I get at Bill O'Brien. Why did you not use Gibbs more when you had him, O'Brien? But I digress from that. And then you got Will Anderson Jr., finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. 32 total tackles on the season, 10 of those tackles for loss, 7 sacks. Big rookie season for the Terminator, Will Anderson. So those are your 4 guys that are finalists for NFL awards. We're going to go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get to topic number 2 of the conversation. Kalen DeBoer has his staff set in terms of Alabama coaches. We jump into that after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh yeah, this. Oh, man. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall. We also have new, fresh, exclusive TDA gear you can get right now at Alumni Hall. That's in store or online. Hit that link in the description and search Touchdown Alabama to view all of the available gear. Hurry and get yours before they're sold out.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, here we go. Locked in to the hottest show on the streets, #1 farm for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Continue hitting that subscribe button. Tap subscribe right now. Get locked in on your Bama content. Hit that thumbs up button as well. Hit the like button. Smash the like button. We appreciate the support from all of you. A sport, Eli, but does not get talked about enough ever since Sarah Patterson retired. Alabama, shouts out to Bama Gymnastics. They won tonight, taking care of the Florida Gators. Bama Gymnastics got a win tonight. They're still undefeated. So the gymnastics squad putting it down. Those ladies doing an outstanding job there. But we continue with topic 2 of the conversation, Eli, that being Kalen DeBoer, Coach KD, however you want to call him. He's got his coaching staff assembled here for the Crimson Tide. And that was one of the big things that he had to do upon taking the job, being the successor to Nick Saban, is get a coaching staff in order. And he's done that. Got an offensive staff in order, got a defensive staff in order. It's going to be fun to watch what they do here. Starting off with the offensive staff for DeBoer, you got the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. You got Ryan Grubb, who comes over from Washington. So Ryan Grubb will run the offense, will coach the offense, will coach the quarterbacks. You got Scott Huff, who replaces Eric Wolford as the offensive line coach. Coach Huff helped Washington win the Joe Moore Award this past season. So kudos to the Coach Huff as the O-line coach. You got Robert Gillespie as the running backs coach, who you retained from the Nick Saban era. So he remains coaching running backs, Robert Gillespie. That's big there. You're a wide receivers coach. You got Jamarcus Shepard, who's been big everywhere he's been in his coaching tenure. Shepard, back-to-back seasons at Washington, had 2 1,000-yard receivers. In 2022, he helped Rome Odunes and McMillan, Jalen McMillan, both go over 1,000 yards. This past season, he had Odunes and Jalen Polk both go over 1,000 yards. That's Jamarcus Shepard. You even got Coach Sheridan, Nick Sheridan, as the tight ends coach. So there you are right there. So that's your offensive set there. And what's going to be fun is the trio of Grubb, Gillespie, and Shepard in terms of this offense. This offense is going to be so much fun, y'all. Because last year with Washington, DeBoer had a 4,000-yard quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., a 1,000-yard plus running back in Dylan Johnson, and once again, 2 1,000-yard receivers. So the balance of this offense, the excitement of this offense, the explosiveness, because you got to think, Alabama's got 4 quarterbacks in this room. Milroe, Simpson, Dylan Larnigan, Austin Mack. You got 3 of your top 5 running backs back with Justice Haynes, Jam Miller, Richard Young. You got several receivers back. Kobe Prentice is back. Kendrick Law is back. Emmanuel Henderson's back. Cole Adams back. Jalen Hale back. Jaron Hamilton back. And then you add names like Gurmy Bernard from the transfer portal from Washington's in here. You get Rico Scott, a freshman from Pennsylvania. You get Amari Jefferson, a freshman from Tennessee. Then you get a recommitment from Ryan Williams coming in here. So your receiver room set. At the tight end position, you got Caleb Odom, who's a freak show. You got Caleb Odom who can play. You got C.J. Dupree who can play. You got Robbie Oots who can play. You got tight ends, Ty Lockwood who can play. So it's going to be very fun to watch this offensive set in the trio of Gillespie, Jamarcus Shepard, and Ryan Grubb, and what they're going to be able to put together and do on the field. Defensively, it's even more exciting when you talk about, you got Kane Womack in here, who will be your defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, taking over for the departed Robert Bama. Then you got Freddie Roach, who is your assistant head coach and defensive line coach. Then you look at Coach Maurice Linguist, Coach Mo, who it seems like he'll work with cornerbacks. And then you got Scott Hitzler, who it seems like he will work with safety. So you got, your defensive roster here. And what's going to be fun for me is watching this 4-2-5 swarm defense with Coach Womack. Where does every piece fit? Where does every guy go? Who could be the biggest beneficiaries of this defense? I look at a guy like Malachi Moore, he can really benefit from this defense. Jaleel Hurley could benefit. Tony Mitchell could benefit. Devontae Smith could benefit. Deontay Lawson, Jihad Campbell could benefit, like on the defensive line. When you look at guys like Tim Smith could benefit. James Smith could benefit. Tim Keenan, Jaheim Otis. So many guys can benefit. It's going to be fun to watch this 4-2-5 swarm defense from Coach Womack and what he will put on the field. But DeBoer getting this staff together, getting this staff set in stone, big job by him. It's going to be fun to watch. Can this staff compete for a national championship? Can this staff that doesn't have enough on here to compete for a national championship? Does this staff have enough juice to relate to the players, get the most out of these guys, and go the distance here in the SEC to where it's going to be a hard schedule, guys. You got Georgia coming to Tuscaloosa. You got to go to Wisconsin. You got to go to Oklahoma. You got to go to LSU. You got Auburn coming to Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a tough schedule in the coming fall. And then you got the 12-team college football playoff. So does DeBoer have a staff that, despite the gauntlet of the schedule, can make a run to an SEC championship, can make a run to the college football playoff, and possibly get a national championship? It's going to be fun to kind of watch all of this sort of unfold here. But we're going to go to another break right here, folks, from the show. Touch that down. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We're getting your calls, your thoughts, your conversations on a free-for-all Friday. Bring them on in here after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Well, folks, as we're back into the action from the break, number one ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. It's official, coming from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Michigan's hired their guy. Coach Sharon Moore's the guy. ESPN's Adam Schefter breaking this. Shefty getting the news out there. Michigan's got its guy. To the surprise of no one, it is Sharon Moore, who was the interim coach for Michigan during the 6-game suspension there of Jim Harbaugh. So that's the guy that the Wolverines are going with, hiring from inside. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We go over this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, how you doing today, Steven? This is Rambo calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Rambo, how we feeling?
All right, man. I ain't really in panic mode how a lot of Bama fans in panic mode. You need to calm down, man. I mean, like, what Saban Braun was magical, so you won't be able to witness that again. So you have to just calm down with that. That was just magic, what we just witnessed these past 17 years. So, and with the Isaiah Bud thing, I see a lot of people still hurt, but can y'all not remember the log jam from last year? Isaiah Bond had to learn how to catch last year. Let's not forget that he just learned how to catch. Besides 4th and 31, and a couple of short routes. Isaiah Bond wasn't really putting in no work like that. So I don't really feel like I'm going to miss Isaiah Bond like that because he held the elite players up last year, and everyone had already been calling for Law and Prentice and the other guys. But like we were saying last year, they didn't do no rotation. Jermaine Burton was dropping balls. Jacoby Brooks was dropping balls. Isaiah Bond was dropping balls. And then Jalen Hill come in. Jalen Hill looked better than Isaiah Bond his first year, but he didn't get the playing time. And one thing that I'm happy to see about is we're not just getting athletes and then they have to learn the position over the course of the season. I got tired of getting athletes, but they're good because they're athletic, but they don't really have a pure position that they're dominant at. Like Christian Harris was a cornerback, a punt returner, and all of that, and then we put him at safety. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Bond was an athlete, so that's why he had to work on his game. That's why I'm glad the wide receivers that are coming in, they won't be as far as behind as the wide receivers previously because they can catch, and all of them put up at least 1,300 receiving yards. The freshmen do, the Jefferson guy, the Scott dude, and Williams. So I just like the wide receiver room better than previously. Jacoby Brooks and all those guys were more so of all possession receivers. So that's my take on it. I know we're going to miss Caleb Downs, but I got my eyes on Xavier Mincy. I really feel
that
like
kid's good.
Xavier Mincy is going to be good. He's a dog. The way I see him, he's a football player. He's a pure football player. That was my only take on it. I'm proud to see Freddie Roach get the job. That right there, I feel like that set a foundation because he got the SEC roots. So I'm really, really, really proud because everybody been saying Freddie Roach need to go, Freddie Roach need to go. And next thing you know, out of nowhere, Freddie Roach is the co-DC. I said, what the hell? We've been trying to get Freddie Roach out, and he got a promotion. So I'm proud of Freddie Roach. I'm not really worried about the DBs. Everybody be talking about the DBs, and we're going to miss Caleb Downs. Eddie Jackson went down. Eddie Jackson was more of a playmaker than Caleb Downs, and we had to patch that up. Jalen Wilder got hurt. We had to patch that up. So I'm not really too big on missing Isaiah Bond. Caleb Downs is a great player, but we just got 3 of the top 5 safeties, so I'm going to be fine with that. And thanks for my call. And how do you feel about Xavier Mincy?
Okay, so Rambo, watching Mincy's tape, I'm like, this guy gets it. This guy understands it. Like you mentioned, he's a football player. He's one of those guys. Just get him on the field. Just get him on the field, watch him play, watch him work, watch him maneuver. I really like Mincy.
Yeah. And my last question was, how do you feel about the wide receivers coming in besides us getting people that are not true at their position? How do you feel about this class and us getting actual players that actually play their position?
I'm happy about it because Bama's getting back to getting true specialists, right? True specialists that know how to play their role. Ryan Williams knows how to be a receiver. Amari Jefferson knows how to be a receiver. Rico Scott, the same thing. We're getting back to getting defensive backs that know how to be defensive backs, whether it's cornerbacks or safeties. We're getting back to recruiting marquee specialists in terms of players at their position.
Right. Just like with Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold never played corner, but you see his improvement, though. That's basically what all I had to say on that. I'm glad that we're actually getting guys that are pure at their position. When I look at Xavier Brown, he's so technical, and he's pretty advanced with his footwork. He's smooth and he's twitchy. He's not super fast, but that was my take on it. Thank you for taking my call.
Rambo calling in from Atlanta. Appreciate his thoughts on the show. Gotta show some love to Don Parker. DP with that $5 donation. Helping us out here on the show. Appreciate Don Parker and appreciate Rambo calling in from Atlanta, giving his thoughts here on the show. Call topic here, people. We got the Bama rookies in the NFL who made the Pro Football Writers Association all-rookie team. Those guys being Will Anderson made the team, Jahmyr Gibbs made the team, Jordan Battle made the Pro Football Writers Association all-rookie team, those three. Will Anderson made it for the Defensive Player of the Year for the Pro Football Writers as well. Probably the only guy that should have made it that's not here is Brian Branch. BB got robbed. Eli. Brian Branch had a really good season this year for the Detroit Lions. And he's still playing in the playoffs right now as the Lions will take on the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So I felt Brian Branch got robbed. But at the end of the day, I mean, you get Jahmyr Gibbs, you get Will Anderson, and you get Jordan Battle. So I guess you can't ask for much more than that. But we take our final break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dab. When we get back, we tidy things up. We wrap things up with this discussion. Is Bama better off this upcoming season with having more young players get opportunities? We wrap things up with that after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, folks, here we go. On a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate all of you checking us out on tonight's show. And we get into the final discussion here of conversation, Eli. That being, is Bama better off? Is Alabama football better suited with having more young guys play the upcoming season? I think they are. And the reason why I feel this way is you look at the career of Nick Saban as the head coach. For all that Nick Saban did, and he did a lot. He did an awful lot. Probably the one thing that we wished Nick Saban didn't do much of is kind of be overly loyal to particular players that he shouldn't have been. And giving a young player an opportunity to step up and show themselves, right? With this new coaching regime of Kalen DeBoer, a lot of these young guys are going to have a shot to prove themselves. Guys like Tony Mitchell is going to have a shot. Jaleel Hurley is going to have a shot. Jalen Hale will have an opportunity. A lot of these younger players are going to have a chance to really prove I'm the real deal. Put me out here. Let me show you who I am, and what I can provide to this program. And I think it's a good thing, right? Because you got to let the young guys get their growing pains, but at the end of the day, they will be better for it. I can remember early on in the Nick Saban era, Saban played a lot of young dudes. And he let those guys learn, get their feet under them. They went through some pains. They went through some tough stuff. But they became better for it. We all remember Cyrus Jones played young. And we were like, why is Cyrus out here? He's getting burned. He's getting beat on every play. Get Cyrus out of there. But Saban let Cyrus grow. And what happened in 2015, Cyrus Jones became one of Bama's best corners out there. Became a lockdown defensive back. So, gotta play some young guys sometimes. Give them that chance. Give them that opportunity. Trust the upside that they have. Now, these guys that you brought in, they have high upside. They have high potential. You're going to have a young team. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Grow with this young team. Build with this young team. Get behind this young team. Let's see what they do. I'd rather have the young player with the high upside, the high ceiling, that may have to deal with some growing pains versus having an older guy out there. Yeah, he may be an older guy, but he doesn't give me the max production as that young guy could give me. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with this team being young. I'm cool with this team having some young pieces, a lot of young pieces. I'm cool with this team, having some guys that may have to battle through some growing pains. As long as they come out on the other side better for it, as long as they come out on the other side more prepared, as long as they come out on the other side willing and ready to give Bama football all they got, that's all I can ask for from them. That is all that I can ask from them. But I'm excited about this, y'all. I'm excited about this. Also excited to get to the super chat before we wrap things up. Who we got here, Eli? Who we got here in this super chat here? I think, is that Ask Bama Girl 26? That is Ask Bama Girl 26! Dropping that $20 donation in there. Putting the love there in the bucket as we are wrapping up the show. Appreciate that right there. As always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, entertainment on your program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store. You got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. Appreciate every last one of you, all the calls, the donations, the chatting, the super chatting. You made this your show tonight. Your spot to talk all things Bama football. Appreciate all of you. Gotta show some love to my man Eli Walker in the production studio, holding it down for all of us here. And, keeping me on schedule. But till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. There you get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Special shouts out to my amazing family, my wife, Mia, my daughter, Mariah. Appreciate both of you, too. And until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.